Hey Friend-tastic friends, welcome back to another Jerry B. Berry bullet journal setup. Today I'm going to do December. This was my November setup. I hope you guys loved it. I will link that in the description. I have everything penciled out for my December setup. I always pencil everything, like everything. I picked out a color palette for this one, which is mostly like greens, blues, and pinks. And then I added a little gold in there because I loved that gold color in my November setup. I also kind of added colors throughout this as well. But I'm using the same supplies that I always do. My notebook is from Archer and Olive. My markers are from Archer and Olive or Tombow. So I will link all the things in the description as usual. I went with a gnome. I really love doing Christmas gnomes. I love doodling gnomes. And I found an inspiration for these gnomes. I'll put the picture up here for you to see the inspiration. I kind of just Googled like gnome doodles. And then that gave me some ideas of where to go with mine. But I also love books, so I decided to combine gnomes and books. I don't know why or how that popped into my head, but I just figured they would go well together, and I actually really liked it. So my November theme had these cool little strings of lights, and I decided to keep that vibe but make them kind of like that Christmas wreath thing, almost like a garland with lights on it. And I feel like this is the easiest thing to doodle in the world because you can't mess it up. You just draw a line and then you do all these little messy lines like diagonally, and then you have like a little pine tree wreath garland thing, whatever you call it. So it's becoming one of my favorite doodles to do. Also, the gnome doodles are like so easy. It doesn't matter like how skilled you are. You don't have to draw like feet or hands if you don't want to. And there's literally like no facial expressions. It's just noses and beards or noses and hair. So I think that's why I love the gnome doodles so much. They're so quick and easy to make like super cute. But I did have a hard time deciding what colors to make all of the gnomes and the books. And I wanted to make sure I colored in the books in a light enough color to where I would be able to still like write the titles of books on the spines. And then I also had to try to find like a nice light color to make all of my gnomes' faces so that they would be kind of consistent. So I picked like this yellowish peach color that I had from Archer and Olive. And then for their beards, I went with like a solid gray Tombow. I wish I had a lighter gray Tombow, to be honest. I might buy one after doing this, but it's okay. So I talked about this in my last video, but I wanted to bring it up again. I used to be a mood tracker lover, and I used to like live by my mood tracker, and I'm kind of in a place where I don't need it anymore, nor do I really use it. So you'll see that I don't actually set up a mood tracker in this one. I also do not set up a calendar because past Jerry, like July Jerry, thought that it would be a good idea to put all my calendars in the beginning of my bullet journal, not with the months that they go to. And I really regret that decision because I don't really use those calendars and I don't get to like decorate them and make them fun for every month now. So I won't be doing that again. But yeah, I definitely talked about that in previous videos as well, like in my bullet journal progression and how I use my bullet journal. So if you have more questions about that, you can go check those videos out where I explain like what I've done in the past and what I plan to do in the future. I've actually already started setting up my 2023 bullet journal. And I always wish I would have started sooner whenever it comes to setting up a New Year bullet journal. I feel like it's never too early to set up a New Year bullet journal. And I'm so excited to show you guys my new 23 bullet journal. So excited because it's going to be so different than my previous stuff. But anywho, my plans for this spread is to actually fill in those books with titles from my 5-star reads this year. So if you check out my GoodReads page, which is always in the description, or if you check out my Instagram, I always review books, and I've been reading a lot of books this year, and I'm almost to my goal. But I have a tab of 5-star reads on my GoodReads page, and so I wanted to write those into these books. There are more 5-star reads than there are books that I doodled, but it's okay. I just kind of filled them in with what felt right, to be honest. I fill in the books not on this video at another time, but if you check out my Instagram, then you'll be able to see all the titles that I filled in for those books. But I thought it was a really cute idea. I don't know why I've been obsessed with putting books into bullet journals recently, into bullet journal spreads or themes. I think I'm just really enjoying reading this year, and I think and book doodles I think are the easiest, whether it's stacks of books or bookshelves or things like floating shelves with books and plants and stuff on them. I don't know. I've just been obsessed with that style recently, so that's why I decided to put it in my December bujo as well. And I must say, I am incredibly proud of myself for doing these more in-depth themes and not trying to stick to one specific thing. From January to June, I was forcing myself to stick to Taylor Swift inspired spreads and Taylor Swift quotes, and it was very cohesive through the whole bullet journal. And then with this one for July through December of this year, I was okay, I'm gonna make the whole thing Harry Potter, everything Harry Potter all the time. But by the time I got to October, I was sick of Harry Potter, and I was sick of forcing myself to adhere to these arbitrary rules I gave myself. So that's why in November and December I decided to just find stuff that's cute and fun, and I'm loving it. I decided this month to do an outline with my Micron fine liners. I did not do outlines last month, and I did like the way it turned out, but for this month I felt with the detail in the gnomes and to distinguish one book from the next, I needed the fine liner outline. So fine liner outlines are definitely my comfort zone, and I'm happy I did it. But I do still love the aesthetic with a non-liner as well, whenever it's appropriate, I guess. But yeah, I absolutely loved the way this spread turned out. The quote that I have is, "Home is where my gnomes and books are," and I've seen everywhere "home is where my gnomes are" or "home is where my gnomies are." And I've also seen quotes that are "home is where my books are" or "home is where I get to read in bed" or something like that. So I kind of just combine them. I don't know if "home is where my gnomes and books are" is an actual quote said by anybody to give credit to. So I'm sorry if I didn't give credit to someone who deserves it, but I think I just kind of made it up. I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe you could let me know. But yeah, I feel I will be doing more gnomes in my next year's bullet journal, but just different colors and themes of gnomes. So and I think I will definitely be doing more book related stuff in my bullet journal. I used to keep a separate reading log, a separate reading journal from my regular journal. And I think at this point in my life, I just want to combine the two and just have one bujo for everything all the time, ever. And just not force myself to fit 6 months into a bullet journal. So I think you will be seeing, I don't know for sure, but I think you'll be seeing more books, doodles in my 2023 setups. We shall find out. This is just me erasing every single pencil line. Like I said, I am a person that sketches every single thing in pencil. Everything, all the time. So I just erase all that. I'll wipe it all off. So then we get into the weeklies. One of my weekly spreads, I had started putting my daily log section there, and then I realized I would need more space for my weeklies. So I had to move my daily log back. All of that happened in the beginning of July. So I had to get crafty of how to cover up that page that you're looking at right now. Basically off camera, I just made my weekly spread on like a plain sheet of printer paper, and then I glued it in. Again, you'll be able to see pictures of that if you head over to my Instagram. But that is how I handled that. I'm a huge fan of tabs. If you've never watched my videos before, now you know I'm a huge fan of tabs. A lot of people are scared to cut up their bullet journal, and I'm obsessed with cutting up my bullet journal. It tends to get problematic sometimes though, because then whenever you go to try to like have a level surface later, sometimes you have wibbly wobblies where you've cut tabs before. So yeah. I also noticed that my like pale peach color was starting to run out, so I hurried up and colored in the rest of my gnome faces, and then I think I end up changing the tab color on the peach one. I'm pretty sure I do. If not now, then later. But yeah, I also loved the aesthetic last month of having these like pieces of art on either side of my weeklies, so that no matter what week I'm on, I see like this little doodle that I've done, and I'm like happy with myself for doing the little doodle. So I did that again for December. On the left-hand side of the journal, there's like a gnome with a little wreath with lights on it, like a little garland piece with lights on it, and it says Happy Holidays. And then on the right side, I have more books and gnomes with like a little piece of garland and lights, because like I said, I didn't have enough books for all my 5-star reads, so I wanted to add a few more. It's still not enough for all my 5-star reads, but it's definitely closer, so I was happy with it. I definitely would add more books if I were to redo it, but I'm okay with it. I only left out a few 5-star reads, so it's okay. But yeah, I love the idea of having like little peekaboo doodles while you're on every single week. And then for my tabs, I just colored them like different colors that matched kind of the palette that I used for this month's setup. I have no words today. I apologize. I would love to know if you bullet journal, if you don't bullet journal, if you're interested in bullet journaling, if you like my setups. Like, I would love to hear all of that feedback from you. Feel free to put it in the comments. Also, I'll have info in the description of how to order custom bullet journals from me. Right now, I'm working on a bullet journal that I'm giving away as a gift from my Jerry Boo Berry series. And I'm also working on a custom bullet journal for a friend. I really love making journals, so if you want to order one, the info will be in the description. The basic idea is that you just message me. We get all the details of what you need and want from your journal, and then I send you an invoice through Squarespace, and easy peasy rice and cheesy. And that's it. If you watched my video about my like bullet journal progression, you'll see that my weeks this month look very similar to my old bullet journals, where they were like, it was like baby Jerry learning how to do lettering and stuff, and it was just kind of this messy script like I have here, this messy cursive. And then I just had each day as like this little barred off section. So I really loved that vibe, actually. I was like proud of myself for how far I've come artistically, but at the same time I wanted to go back to it. So I did these super simple little blocked off bar sections for each day, with like the big cursive for the day of the week and then the little number in the corner. And I really, really loved that vibe, 100%. Again, you'll see me fix that daily log in a photo on my Instagram post. So I always try to match the color of the like week spread with the tab. So that's why you'll see like I did a green, then I did a pink, and so on and so forth. I honestly did not really count these out. I think each day is about 4 spaces tall, and I have an A5 size notebook. I don't know if that helps you, but I kind of just made it willy-nilly-ish and made sure they all kind of fit on there. I penciled in like a light idea of where I wanted the blocks to go, basically. So that's that. Also, just as a heads up, obviously I sped this up like 4 times the real speed. So from the time I sat down at my desk to the time that I finish it here for you, it took an hour and 15 minutes. But that does not include the time that it took me to write in all of the titles for the book, or the time it took me to fix that one weekly spread that I had to cover up with paper. So yeah, just I like to give you guys a realistic idea of how long it takes to set these things up. That hour and 15 minutes also does not include the time that it took me to sketch all of this out. So it is quite a commitment. That different colored blue 51 is because I messed up and wrote 50, so I just hurried up and wrote a 51 over it in a really dark blue. You can kind of tell, kind of can't. I don't trip too much on mistakes in my bullet journal, to be honest. I think it just makes them look more real, more used, more personal, so I never worry too much about it. I also always use rolling weeklies, always. You can find rolling weekly description videos anywhere. I was upset that I got a marker line on this page. That's what that was. I'm just like upset with myself for carelessly putting a marker spot on there. I'm not really sure how it happened, but it's okay. We'll figure it out whenever we get to that week, I guess. But yeah. I think that I will definitely use this weekly spread more often, just because it is so easy to do and it looks cute, but it's like kind of messy and imperfect. I don't know. I really love it. You guys will have to let me know if you like it. Don't forget all the things, all the info's in the description box. I have other bujo setups as well, like November, and I'll have more setups coming soon. Keep an eye out for all of that. I will be doing a 12 days of Christmas where I have more giveaways, so just keep an eye out for those that are coming up like next month. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the love and support that you've given me. Let me know if you want to see more things, different things, all the things. I love discussions. Yeah. Let me know if you have any book recommendations for me to start reading next year, because I'm super excited to start a new TBR for next year. My TBR is already extensive, but I'm always excited to add to it. And yeah, thank you all. Here's just one last quick flip through. Thank you guys. Love you, bye.